Your reality is a mirror of your consciousness, a direct reflection of what you hold in your imagination. Everything you see, feel, and experience in your world begins within you. Years ago, while living in New York City during the Great Depression, I found myself in a challenging situation. Bills were piling up, job opportunities were nowhere to be found, and the world felt heavy and unwelcoming. But I came to a profound realization. These circumstances were simply the result of my past thoughts and beliefs. Instead of fighting against them or feeling defeated, I learned to relax into my true nature, to trust the universe, and to reshape my reality from the inside out. You are not separate from the universe. You are its creative power, expressed as an individual. Your imagination is the divine spark, the tool that shapes your world. To trust the universe is to understand that whatever you desire, whether it is wealth, love, health, or success, already exists within the realm of your imagination. The key is to align yourself with that reality, to feel it as true, and to allow it to unfold naturally into your physical life. Let me share a story from my own experience to illustrate this principle. In 1933, I was living in a small basement apartment in New York City, unemployed and struggling to get by. The Great Depression had left millions, including me, with little hope for immediate relief. My family in Barbados invited me to return home, offering to pay for everything, but I initially declined their offer. However, as I stood on the docks, waving goodbye to them, a sudden overwhelming desire to visit Barbados washed over me. I shared this feeling with my friend Abdullah, a wise teacher who understood the deeper laws of life. He looked at me and said, "You are in Barbados." His words puzzled me at first. I was clearly standing in his apartment on 72nd Street, thousands of miles from the Caribbean. But he explained, "If you are in Barbados, you cannot discuss how to get there. You must live as if you are already there, seeing the world from that place." Abdullah's advice was to sleep in the feeling of being in Barbados, to imagine the world as I would see it from my family's home on the island. I followed his guidance faithfully. Each night, I closed my eyes and pictured myself in my mother's house, hearing the tropical sounds of Barbados, feeling the warmth of the sun on my skin, and seeing New York City far to the northwest. I didn't worry about how I would get there. I simply lived in the feeling of already being there. As the weeks passed, doubt occasionally crept in, but I persisted. In late November, a letter arrived from my brother Victor. Without any prompting. From me, he enclosed a $50 draft and instructions to book a ticket to Barbados, explaining that the family wanted to be together for Christmas for the first time in years. On December 6th, I boarded a ship, and through a last-minute cancellation, I secured first-class accommodations. I spent 3 months in Barbados, all expenses paid by my family. This experience taught me a life-changing truth. Your imagination creates your reality. The secret lies in relaxing into the awareness of who you truly are. You are not a powerless individual at the mercy of external circumstances. You are the creative force of the universe, individualized as you. Your consciousness, your sense of being, is the divine essence within you. When you say "I am," you are tapping into the creative power of the universe. This is not a metaphor or a poetic idea. It is the foundation of your existence. To trust the universe is to trust your own imagination, to know with certainty that what you vividly imagine and feel as true must manifest in your physical world. Here is a practical technique I have used countless times: the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Before you go to sleep, quiet your mind and imagine a scene that implies your desire is already real. If you seek financial abundance, do not focus on your current bank balance or unpaid bills. Instead, picture yourself paying those bills with ease. Feel the security of a full bank account, or imagine the joy of giving generously to others. Make the scene vivid by engaging all your senses. What do you see around you? How does it feel to be in that moment? What sounds fill the air? The key is to feel the naturalness of this state, as if it is already your reality. Persist in this feeling night after night, and your outer world will begin to shift to align with it. I once met a woman in Los Angeles who was overwhelmed by chronic anxiety about her future. She worried constantly about what could go wrong, and her life reflected that fear. Opportunities were scarce, relationships were strained, and stress consumed her days. I explained that her worries were shaping her reality, creating the very outcomes she feared. I suggested she spend her evenings imagining peace and security, feeling as if everything in her life was already resolved. She followed this practice, diligently, picturing herself calm, confident, and provided for. Within weeks, her anxiety began to fade. New opportunities appeared, such as job offers and unexpected financial help, and she felt a renewed sense of ease. Her world transformed because she shifted her inner state. This principle applies to any desire, no matter how big or small. Years ago, I dreamed of becoming a successful lecturer, sharing these truths with audiences around the world. Instead of stressing about how to make it happen, I imagined standing before attentive crowds, hearing their applause, and feeling the joy of inspiring them. Night after night, I lived in that feeling, trusting it was already done. Over time, doors opened, invitations to speak arrived, travel opportunities materialized, and audiences eagerly received my message. Today, I stand before you as living proof that this law works. The secret is to relax into the consciousness of your desire fulfilled and trust that it must manifest. Doubts and fears will arise, especially when your current circumstances seem to contradict your vision. When they do, don't fight them, or let them derail you. Simply acknowledge them and gently return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Think of your life's challenges as scenes in a play. Some may seem tragic or chaotic, but you can remain calm, knowing they are temporary. Your current circumstances are merely shadows of past thoughts and have no power to block your new reality. If you catch yourself worrying, pause and ask yourself, what am I imagining right now? Then consciously choose to imagine something better. This shift in focus is how you maintain trust and keep your mind aligned with your desire. Another powerful practice is revision. At the end of each day, review any events that did not go as you would have liked. In your imagination, replay them as you wish they had happened. For example, if a business meeting went poorly, imagine it ending with success, mutual agreement, and a sense of accomplishment. Feel the satisfaction of that outcome. This practice serves two purposes. It prevents negative thoughts from taking root in your consciousness, and it strengthens your ability to create intentionally. Over time, revision rewires your mind to focus on positive outcomes, aligning your reality with your desires. Let me share another story. In Barbados, I met a man consumed by worry about his business. He constantly imagined failure, losing clients, declining profits, and mounting debts. I told him his fears were creating those very outcomes. Instead, I urged him to imagine his business thriving, to feel the satisfaction of success. He began, visualizing happy customers, growing revenue, and a sense of ease in his work. Within months, his business turned around. New clients appeared, profits increased, and his stress melted away. He learned that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the key to creation. To deepen your trust, try an exercise I call the Sabbath. Find a quiet moment each day. Close your eyes and mentally declare, "Be still and know that I am the creative power." Feel the truth of these words, sensing the immense power of your imagination. Then bring your desire to mind, but do not see it as something to achieve in the future. Feel as if you already have it. Experience the gratitude, joy, and relief of its fulfillment. Rest in this state, like a seed planted in fertile soil. Trust that it will grow even if you cannot yet see the results. This is what it means to enter the Sabbath, to rest in the consciousness of your desire fulfilled. Time is often a stumbling block for people. They wonder, how long will it take for my desire to manifest? But time is not the issue. The only factor is how quickly you can make the feeling of your desire natural. When you truly relax and trust, you do not obsess over when or how it will happen. You know it must. Think of planting a seed in the ground. You do not dig it up daily to check its progress. You trust the laws of nature to bring it to fruition. Similarly, trust the law of imagination. Once you have planted the seed of your desire, nurture it with faith and let it grow. Another technique is the state akin to sleep. Before bed, relax your body completely and enter a calm, meditative state. In this receptive space, imagine a scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. If you want a loving relationship, picture yourself with your ideal partner, feeling their warmth and love. If you seek wealth, imagine checking a bank account with an abundant balance or celebrating a successful deal. Make the scene vivid. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, and bask in the emotions. This practice, done consistently, aligns your subconscious mind with your desire, paving the way for its manifestation. A woman in San Francisco once wrote to me about her struggle with chronic illness. After attending my lectures, she began imagining herself healthy and vibrant. Each day she felt the joy of vitality, picturing herself active and free from pain. She did not fight her condition or dwell on it. She lived from the assumption of perfect health. Within months, her doctors were astonished by her recovery. Her transformation came from trusting her imagination and living in the end result. Wealth, in particular, responds powerfully to this principle. Many people struggle with money because they focus on lack, what they do not have, what they cannot afford. This mindset only perpetuates scarcity. Instead, shift your consciousness to abundance. Imagine the freedom of financial security, the joy of buying what you want without worry, or the satisfaction of giving generously. Feel these emotions as if they are real now. Your external reality, including your bank account, job, or opportunities, will begin to reflect this inner shift. Consider the story of a man I met who wanted to sell his home but could not find a buyer. He was anchored to the idea of living in that house, mentally sleeping there every night. I advised him to imagine sleeping elsewhere, perhaps in a new home or a place he would live after selling. He began picturing himself in a new apartment, feeling the excitement of a fresh start. Within weeks, a buyer appeared, and the sale went smoothly. He learned that to change his reality, he had to let go of the old one in his imagination. This process is not about forcing outcomes or manipulating the world. It is about aligning your inner state with your desired reality and trusting the law to work. The universe is infinitely responsive. It is your own consciousness pushed out into the world. When you assume a new state, whether it is wealth, health, or success, the world reshapes itself to match. This requires persistence, especially when external circumstances seem to contradict your vision. If bills pile up or opportunities seem scarce, do not despair. These are temporary shadows of past thoughts. Return to your imagined state, feel its reality, and trust that change is coming. Another technique is to live from the end throughout your day. Ask yourself, how would I act if my desire were already true? If you were wealthy, how would you carry yourself? How would you approach decisions? Perhaps you would walk with more confidence, make bolder choices, or feel at ease in financial discussions. Align your actions with this state, not as a pretense, but as a natural expression of your inner reality. These small shifts reinforce your new consciousness and accelerate the manifestation process. Let me share another example. Years ago, I desired to travel and lecture across the country. I did not have the means or a clear plan, but I refused to let that stop me. Each night, I imagined speaking to engaged audiences, feeling their enthusiasm and my own fulfillment. I did not worry about logistics. I trusted the feeling. Over time, invitations came, travel arrangements fell into place, and I lived the reality I had imagined. This was not luck. It was the law of imagination at work. Doubts and fears are natural, especially when your current reality does not match your vision. The key is to treat them like passing clouds, acknowledge them, but do not let them define you. If you notice anxiety creeping in, pause and redirect your focus. Imagine a scene that brings you joy, like celebrating a financial windfall or achieving a long-held goal. Feel the relief and gratitude. This shift in focus neutralizes fear and strengthens your trust. Another practice is to cultivate a mental diet of abundance. Surround yourself with stories of success, ideas that inspire possibility, and people who uplift your vision. Limit exposure to negativity, such as news about economic downturns or conversations about scarcity. Just as you choose nourishing food for your body, choose thoughts that nourish your mind. This builds a foundation of faith that supports your desired reality. The concept of acting as if is powerful. It is not about pretending or faking it. It is about embodying the state of your desire. If you want to be wealthy, do not just think about money. Feel like a wealthy person. How would you spend your day? What choices would you make? Perhaps you would invest in yourself, take calculated risks, or approach opportunities with confidence. By living from this state, you signal to the universe that this is your reality, and it responds accordingly. Consider nature as a metaphor. A lily does not struggle to bloom. It unfolds naturally according to its design. You, too, can unfold into your desires by trusting your imagination. The universe operates by law, just as a seed grows in fertile soil. Plant your desire with vivid imagining, nurture it with faith, and give it time to manifest. Do not dig up the seed by doubting or obsessing over results. Trust that it is growing, even if you cannot yet see it. Another story comes to mind. A young woman wanted to start her own business but felt trapped by financial constraints. I advised her to imagine running a successful company, feeling the pride of her achievements and the ease of financial flow. She began visualizing her office, her team, and happy clients. She felt the excitement of signing contracts and the security of steady profits. Over time, she attracted investors, found mentors, and built her business from the ground up. Her success began in her imagination, fueled by trust. To deepen this practice, try the I am exercise. Throughout your day, whenever you say I am, pause and recognize that you are invoking your creative power. If you say I am wealthy, feel the truth of it, not as a future hope, but as a present reality. This builds a habit of conscious creation, aligning your words, thoughts, and feelings with your desired state. The journey to wealth or any desire is not about chasing external things. It is about becoming the person who naturally attracts them. When you embody abundance, you make decisions from confidence, not fear. You notice opportunities you might have missed. You act with ease, knowing the universe is conspiring to support you. This shift in consciousness transforms not just your finances, but every area of your life. Relationships, health, creativity, all flourish when you live from abundance. If you are struggling with money, do not focus on lack. Instead, celebrate the abundance already in your life, the air you breathe, the opportunities around you, the infinite potential within you. Gratitude amplifies your awareness of abundance, making it easier to assume that state. Over time, your external reality will reflect this inner shift, bringing unexpected income, new possibilities, or a sense of peace that transcends circumstances. 1. Final technique is to create a daily ritual of abundance. Each morning, Spend a few moments imagining your ideal life. See yourself living with ease, making choices from a place of security, and enjoying the fruits of your desires. At night, review your day and revise any moments that felt misaligned. This consistent practice strengthens your faith and keeps you anchored in your desired reality. As you move forward, know that you are the creator of your world. Your imagination is the divine power within you, and trust is the key to unlocking it. Choose a desire, big or small, and live in its fulfillment. Feel it as real, act as if it is done, and trust the law to bring it to pass. The universe is not outside you. It is you responding to your every assumption. Embrace this truth, relax into your divine nature, and watch your life transform into a reflection of your deepest desires.